This is the Louie T Network.
See, first come the preseason, and I don't take a day off. And then my team was 6-10, and we ain't smell a playoffs. Yeah, I seen the Super Bowl, but I heard they just play balls. A lot of teams had injuries. Sam Bradford had to take off. Go hard in the offseason, but you don't know the half. Before you know, we gon' look up, and we ready for the draft. They dressed up in that suit top, and I don't know how to act. They waiting, so patient, so they can put on that hat. Who else could it be? Yeah, but your man Luke. Okay, so when she asks you where you at, you tell her you in the lab room. Who else could it be? Who? But your man Luke. Okay, so when she asks where you was at, you can tell her you was in the lab room. Yeah.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. This is the hurry up offense for week number 2 in the National Football League, where I break down all the games in hurry up fashion as quick as possible. This is part 1. I'm breaking this up into 2 installments so it's easier for you to consume in smaller quantities. You ready? Let's break these games down. Let's go. We start in Cleveland. Tennessee Titans out there in Cleveland, and we start with the Titans. Early penalties in this game. Titans, you can't go on the road and struggle with penalties. And Taylor Lewan was the biggest culprit early in this game. And he can be a hothead at times. I love Taylor Lewan. I love his nastiness. I want my offensive linemen to be aggressive and ornery. And that's what Taylor Lewan is. He just took it a little too far, picked up a couple of penalties in this game, and it cost him early in this ballgame. Well of a game for Dexter McCluster, though. And sometimes I feel like in Tennessee you can get lost in the sauce. We went out and got him, and I think more as a special teams demon. But I think sometimes they forget this guy's a jack of all trades. You can stick him in the backfield, you can split him out wide as a receiver, you can throw it to him out in the backfield, you can create some mismatches. He was very good in this game. Sometimes you just need a little bit of a reminder, and I think this game served as that. Dexter McCluster, I thought, played really well in this game. Marcus Mariota sloppy with the football in this game. He didn't have a bad game, okay? He didn't play as well as he did last week, but it was going to be hard to top that game anywho. But look, he had issues in college with holding on to the football. He had a lot of fumbles while at Oregon. That's something that he struggled with. He struggled with it in this game. So I wonder if his hands are a little small or something, because does he have smaller hands? Because the ball just came out of his hand. Nobody even touched him. The ball came out of his hand. And that same thing used to happen at Oregon. And I wonder, does he have a problem securing the football? Sometimes that could be an issue. I need him to clean it up. You cannot put the football on the carpet in the National Football League and think you're going to get away with it, especially when you're on the road. Ask Mr. West. Wake up, Mr. West. Mr. West, he's back in Cleveland. Wants to show these boys what they missing, what the game's missing. They gave him away. And he cost the football up on the second possession of the game after the Browns had already struck gold and gotten to the end zone and struck pay dirt. It was already 7-0. The Titans need a spark. He coughs it up. The subsequent recovery by the Browns and the drive thereafter leads to another touchdown. It's 14-0. Just like the Titans had done a week ago against the Bucks, they were in trouble. They had the Browns jump on them like they jumped on the Bucks a week prior, and it was 14-0 early in the ball game. 35-7 last week against Tampa Bay at halftime. Browns had the Titans 21-donut, had them ruled in the first half, and so that's a tough deficit to overcome when you're a young football team on the road. I thought the defense didn't really have one of their better outings, and to me, I look at the Titans defense. This is a defense that plays better with the lead, and I know you're saying to yourself, what defense doesn't play better with the lead? Not everybody plays great with the lead. Not everybody can get pressure on the quarterback. Not everyone is comfortable being ahead. This is a team that I think needs to either be close or ahead in the ball game for the defense to step up and make some plays. They didn't make any plays. They gave up big plays in this game, and that was the difference in the ball game. Of course, turnovers never help at all. You go to the Browns. I thought the defense was much better in this game. Mike Patton, I knew he was going to have this team playing much better defense than they did last week in New York versus the Jets. They just struggled. They looked like a different ball club than the one I saw last year, getting after teams' quarterbacks and making it tough against the Cleveland Browns. I thought Joey Snatches struggled last week. He looked much better this week. And I expected all these things to come to fruition. That's why I picked the Browns to win this game. They came out with much more defensive intensity. They stopped the run. They made Terrence West cough up the football. Marcus Mariota had some success in this game throwing the football, but it wasn't the type of success. And it took him 37 attempts this week versus 16 to do what he did last week. So I thought the Browns came out with more defensive intensity, including forcing Terrence West to fumble the football, which led to another touchdown, which gave them a 14-0 lead, which they would never relinquish in this football game. The Browns simplified the offense for Johnny Manziel in this game, and I thought that was a smart thing to do. Simply, they did something similar to what the Titans did with Marcus Mariota last week. 16 attempts for him in that game versus the Buccaneers. 15 attempts for Johnny two-time in this game, and 8 of 15, not a great percentage, but when you're hitting the deep ball like he did in this game, you don't feel bad about it at all. And so him and Travis Benjamin made some beautiful music together. Be interested to see how those two continue to grow with one another as they continue to play games and try to build some continuity there. I want to see Johnny two-time continue to get starts in this league with this team. They got the Oakland Raiders coming to town next week. Let's see if they can't string together a couple of victories and get this thing going in the right direction. As for the Titans, tough loss on the road, a game that you felt like you had a chance to go and get. You lose, now you're going home for a long time, okay? This Titans team won't see the road for the next 5 weeks. They will be in Tennessee for 5 consecutive weeks. There's a bye in there somewhere, but 4 consecutive home games. They better eat good and eat that home cooking up while they can, because they're going to have a lot of road games coming their way after this stretch. You move on to the next matchup. New England Patriots on the road taking on the Buffalo Bills. This was one of those big-time divisional matchups that I call the changing of the guard moment. Can you force a potential change of the guard? Kansas City had a chance to do it against Denver on Thursday Night Football and failed. Were the Bills going to succumb to the same fate? You betcha, they sure did. And it was because the defense let them down in this game. Now, did they have turnovers? Did they have a bunch of mistakes by the offense? Absolutely. We'll get to the Bills in a second. Let's talk about the Patriots first, though. Tom Terrific was insane in this game. Insane in this game. Insane in this game. 400 yards passing? Are you serious? On the road against the Bills, a Rex Ryan coach outfit? How often does Tom Brady shred a Rex Ryan coach team? Not since Thanksgiving, like 3 years ago with the butt fumble, did he beat up a Rex Ryan team on the defensive side of football this bad. Now, at least this game, the score actually doesn't reflect what that butt fumble game did. That was an atrocity, but the Bills were terrible on defense in this game, and Tom Brady took advantage. Rob Gronkowski, another big day. Can somebody explain to me, please? Anybody, somebody, anybody out there, can you explain to me how 87 manages to get open? If you're playing, let me ask you a question, because I struggle with this. If you're playing the New England Patriots and you got to cover one guy, okay, it doesn't matter. One guy, you got to stop one guy. You're going to take one guy out of the game plan. Who's it going to be? I'll give you a second to think. You don't need to think, because his name is Rob Gronkowski and he wears number 87, and he's like 20 feet tall. How can you miss this guy? You put 2 defenders on him and you say, hey, Julian Edelman, beat me. You say, hey, Danny Amendola, beat me, okay? You say, hey, you, Aaron Dobson, beat me. Make somebody, anybody else beat you with 87. But the Steelers seem to not understand that concept and let him run free through their secondary, and the Bills followed suit and allowed him to carve him up in this game as well, and I just don't get it. But that's just me. I'm no defensive mastermind. I'm just little old Louie T watching football games for a living and telling you that Rob Gronkowski is the man and you need to stop him. I don't know. That's just a thought. Hey, that's my little 2 cents and my food for thought. You do the dishes. Anyway, Pats have defensive issues, however. They do a lot of things on the offensive side of the football that make a lot of teams around the league jealous. But their defense has a lot of deficiencies. The Steelers were able to score points. The Steelers were able to move the football up and down the field. so were these Bills. They moved the football up and down the field and they scored points. Difference is, in both of those games, the Patriots did something that the opposition wasn't able to. They forced turnovers, and that's what the defenses that aren't as good but still win football games seem to do. You remember the Saints of the 08-09 season, somewhere in there, won the Super Bowl? Terrible defense, but they forced turnovers. They were opportunistic. That's how they won the Super Bowl that year. This Patriots team reminds me a lot of that team, not necessarily in the sense of how aggressive they are in getting turnovers, but just being in the right place at the right time. You've got a dynamic offense led by Tom Brady. You don't need to necessarily stop teams from scoring as much as just give Tom Brady more opportunities to keep scoring so that at the end of the game, you look up at the scoreboard, you got more points than the opposition. That's the name of the game. They forced turnovers in this game. They forced a turnover last week versus the Steelers. Because of that, they won both of those ball games. They did the same thing in this game and got it done. Now, I will say this, the running game seems non-existent in New England. Tom Brady over 50 passing attempts in this game. They had a chance to run out the clock and bleed this game dry and not allow the Bills to even have a chance. They were up big in this game. The Bills should not have even sniffed them in this game, but because they kept throwing the football, it gave the Bills chances to come back. I don't know if they have a run game. It doesn't seem like it right now. Only time will tell. I'm starting to question that fact. You go to the Bills, Tyrod Taylor sacked 8 times, 3 interceptions in this game. That is no way to beat and slay the kings of the hill in your division. You can't turn it over. You can't give up sacks, and you did that in this game. Now, when you have a mobile quarterback, sacks aren't usually what they appear to be. A lot of times these guys run backwards and run forwards, get tackled just shy of the line of scrimmage, and that is credited as a sack. So I don't really worry about the 8 sacks as much as I do the 3 interceptions. All of them were high. When he misses high. You miss high in this league, you pay in this league. He paid in this game, especially at some crucial junctures of this football game, including the last possession when the Bills had a chance to tie the football game. The run game looked a lot better in this game. I thought LaShawn Shady McCoy looked much more comfortable. The offensive line fired off the football, did a much better job of opening up some rushing lanes. Was that a product of the Patriots who gave up 100 plus to old man Williams last week? Or was that just a byproduct of you being much better in the run game than you were against the Colts a week ago? I don't know the answer to that. I'm just going to say you look better, and that's what I'm looking for, improvement. The Bills actually missed a point after touchdown attempt, and they went for 2 two-point conversions and failed on both of them. Lesson to everyone out there, all 32 teams, including you, Buffalo, don't do that. I call it chasing points. Don't do that, okay? Never a smart idea to go chasing points. You miss a point after, forget about it, wipe it from the memory bank. Let me tell you something. At one point in the game, you cut it to 5 at 37-32. Just think about if you had 2 of those points. Let's say you don't go chasing that 1 extra point that you missed. You make the other 2. It's 34-37. A field goal ties you this ball game. Your whole thought process changes. Instead of thinking you need a touchdown, you would have only needed a field goal. Now, you let the Patriots go right down the field and find a way to get another field goal and put this game at 8, which forces you to have to score not only a touchdown, but do something you hadn't done all game, convert on a 2-point conversion, but still, don't chase points. It's a recipe for disaster. The Williams injury was scary. You never want to see anybody go down, especially lying motionless on the ground and the ambulance having to come out and take them to the hospital. A lot of times those things are for precautionary reasons. You just don't want to move a guy. You don't know what's wrong yet. So I get that, but anytime you see a guy on the ground like that, it's a little scary. Hopefully he's going to be just fine. And it was good to see Samuel Watkins show up to the party. Give it up for Mr. Sammy Watkins getting a touchdown and getting involved in this offense. You need this guy to be a big-time playmaker for you. Good to see him come down there, down the stretch, get a touchdown, get you back in this ball game. And I'm going to say this much. The Bills could have quit in this game. They were down big. What was it, 27-7? 31-7, something like that. They were down big in this game. And they scratched and clawed their way back into this football. What was it, 31-13, something of that nature. They could have quit, but they didn't. They came back and they made this a ball game. Kudos to the Bills for scratching and clawing and making this a ball game, but they fell short at home, 40-32 to the New England Patriots. Patriots go to 2-0 in the season. Bills drop to 1-1 and really spoil a great opportunity to really do some damage in the AFC East. landscape. You go to the next matchup, Houston at Carolina. Texans came into this game, new starting quarterback Ryan Mallett, was really looking forward to seeing what he was going to bring to the table. I wanted to see Ryan Mallett, but I didn't want to see 58 passing attempts. Are you kidding me? I mean, really, seriously, are you doing that with Ryan Mallett on the road against Carolina nonetheless? That just doesn't seem right to me. I talked about with Johnny Manziel and even last week Marcus Mariota simplifying the offense. And I know this guy's been in the league a lot longer than those two, but still, he hasn't had that many starts. He's got the same amount of starts as Johnny Manziel, the same amount of starts as Marcus Mariota. If I'm not mistaken, this is his second career NFL start. Why are we throwing the football 58 times again? I forget. Can you remind me? I don't know. Don't worry about it. Don't try to explain it to me because it doesn't make any sense. And anything you say won't make sense to me. 58 attempts on the road versus a vaunted defense like the Panthers is stupid. Don't do it. Anyway, rough first half for Nate Washington. Okay, he had a couple of drops. One of them might have even been a touchdown had he caught it and not fell down and dropped the football at the same time. He just had a rough go of it. He did bounce back in the second half and have some good grabs, but you need all your weapons on deck and ready to fire when you got a young guy like Ryan Mallett under the center and you didn't have Nate Washington, arguably your most veteran receiver that you're supposed to be able to rely on to help you in that first half. Beautiful opening drive of the second half, however. You had an 80-yard, 6-minute and 31-second drive that really set the tone for the second half, which meant you're going to have a shot because it seemed like the Panthers were starting to distance themselves from you, and it felt like this game was just starting to slip away a bit. And with that touchdown, you kind of climbed back in and made sure they knew you're in for a dogfight today. We're not going away. This isn't going to be easy. You don't have to work for this one. That was a big time drive. Huge one-hand grab in the end zone by Garrett Graham to really punctuate that drive. JJ Watt mocked Cam Newton there. That seems to be a theme either with Cam, like Colin Kaepernick mocking him a couple years in the playoffs, or JJ Watt. He seems to love to mock other guys. How about you just stick to your little salute and all of that good stuff, or when you bat a pass, you wave your little finger. Let's not do the whole, first down thing. I knew Cam was getting on your nerves because he was stop him from picking up first downs. You don't want him to do the first down sign on you, but you don't go do that. You're better than that, JJ. You're better than that. Stop your nonsense, man. We go to Carolina though. Offensive line, I thought, protected very solidly in this game. Again, you're playing against one of the best defensive fronts in football. You're dealing with JJ Watt. Clowney's out there. They've got some guys up there that can harass you, and I thought the offensive line gave Cam Newton some time to survey the field, find some receivers. And you really got to have offensive protection. Did you see how slow that double move was? Did you see how slow that move was? Ted Ginn ran and act like he was coming back and then get the little circle around on the double move. That was so ugly, but it worked and it got him a touchdown, so I'm not complaining. Man, was that slow and ugly, but hey, you can't argue with results. That got him in the end zone. Ted Ginn, speaking of which, continues to be a stud on special teams, primarily punt returns. This guy is dynamic and he keeps the Panthers in really good field position. I don't know why teams continuously kick it to Ted Ginn Jr. and give him the space that he has. You're going to kick it to him, kick it high, you're going to kick it to him, angle him to a corner. But don't kick it down the middle and allow this guy to get you for a 15, 20, 25-yard return to midfield and set the Panthers up from the midfield strike. That's just not a good look. Ted Ginn Jr. continues to be a menace on special teams. Come on, Grego! Grego bounced back from his lackluster performance last week. And I actually thought he had a good performance last week, even though he had one catch. He had that one-hander in the end zone that they called back because of a penalty. But this week, it was back to more Greg O. 6 catches, about 80 yards. He led the team in receiving. That's just a typical Grego day. And so they got to rely on him because they don't have enough targets out there. It's good to see him continuing to produce. It's the return of downtown Philly Brown. He's back. Philly Brown went downtown and snagged one in the end zone. Look, I don't have anything against Corey Brown, but I like downtown Philly Brown much better than I do Corey Brown. And so it's good to see Philly Brown. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back, Philly Brown. Downtown Billy Brown. Big time catch in the end zone. Cam was throwing them up there. 2 deep balls in the end zone. Good to see those guys coming down with them. To me, Cam Newton is a bigger, stronger version and faster version of Donovan McNabb. To me, he's a incarnation of Donovan McNabb. The Panthers put a lot on his shoulders, just like the Eagles used to with Donovan McNabb. They don't give him a lot of targets to throw the football to. And he's got to carry the team. He's got to run. He's got to pass. He's got to control the offense. He's got to do every single thing for this team to be successful. You saw the touchdown. He gets flipped over, lands on his feet. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. Nope, it's number 1. Hey, Cam is his name. Super Cam. He's got to do it all. But he doesn't mind doing it, and the Carolina Panthers continue to get it done. No Luke Kuechly, no problem. They get the game winning stop at the end. Panthers get it done at home 24-17 to go to 2-0 on the season. Texans are in trouble, 0-2 to start this season. They better start doing something and doing it fast if they want to have any semblance of a season. You go on to the next matchup, San Diego Chargers. San Diego Superchargers taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. I thought this would be a close ball game, and it was. We start with the Chargers. Disaster strikes when Keenan Allen, KA13, muffs a punt, leading to an AJ Green, young, fresh, and green. AJ Green touchdown snag in the back of the end zone. AJ had to climb the ladder for that one, go up and get it, but that man can do that. That's why they pay him the big bucks. And you can't have those kind of mistakes on the road if you're looking to beat a good football team like the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, I don't know how good they're going to be this year because I said they were going to be 8-8, but you want to beat them. This is a good team. You need to find a way to take care of the football. You need to find a way to eliminate the penalties. 8 of those for the San Diego Chargers on the day. 3 turnovers. Who you going to beat doing that? Maybe you'll beat the Detroit Lions doing that. Maybe you'll beat the Oakland Raiders doing that. Hell, maybe you'll beat the Tennessee Titans doing that, but you won't beat Cincinnati in the jungle doing that type of nonsense. Melvin Gordon showed some explosiveness in this game, and he's going to be just fine. I said that last week, but I didn't really believe what I was saying when I said that. I just said it because it felt like the right thing to say at that time. He's going to be fine. I believe that now. I saw the explosiveness. I saw him breaking tackles. I saw him doing some things that makes me feel like that pick that you spent on him was justified moving up. Melvin Gordon III will be just fine. And finally, a little kudos to Phillip Rivers for breaking the all-time franchise touchdown record in San Diego Chargers history. He tied it and then broke it later on in the game. Kudos to Phils. This game ball is for you, big man. But you didn't get it done. You threw that interception at the end of Vincent Ray, so give me back my damn game ball. Move on to Cincinnati. Jeremy Hill continues his fumbling woes. And if there's only so much patience, and you want me to tell you a funny story? I was looking at the stats for this game. At the bottom line, I saw Giovanni Bernard. Hey, come here, Giovanni Bernard. I saw him with 25 carries for over $1 and some change, and I'm like, when is the last time you did that, buddy? I said, did Jeremy Hill get hurt? Or is Jeremy Hill putting the ball on the carpet, putting the church's money on the floor? Is he doing that again? And sure enough, I turned on the game, and Jeremy Hill, they gave him not 1, 2 chances to not put the church's money on the floor, and he put it back on the ground again. And Marvin had seen enough, and they just put Giovanni Bernard in the game and let him do his damn thing. And it's good to see Gio get some touches, because the dude is dynamic, and I don't know why Cincinnati said, hey, you don't need to touch it. We got Jeremy Hill. You can just get it whenever we give it to you. This guy's dynamic. Why don't let him touch the ball some more? It makes more sense to me to split the carries than to just give it to Jeremy 25 times. You got Giovanni Bernard back there. Give him the football too. He showed you why in this game. Andy Dalton was sharp in the first half. Andy has started this season like a man on a mission. Hey, I've seen this story before. I've gotten on this train. I'm not getting on again, but I like what I see out of Andy nonetheless. Tyler Eifert continues to be a big-time player for this Bengals team. They said he was going to be a big part of the offense this year, and they have not let us down yet. He's played well to start this season out. 9 Cincinnati Bengals penalties. You got to clean that up. You were at home versus a Chargers team that was vulnerable, so you still got away with it. 9 penalties, normally going to spell trouble for you when you play on most weeks. How about the big man with football, man? Jake Fisher, your second round tackle. Yes, I just said tackle. Sneaks out, tackle eligible, sneaks down the sideline, and he hits him with a pass. The big man shows off the hands, catches the football, and then rumble. Big man rumble for 31 yards. I love seeing big man with football. Big man with football. Always fun to see. Yeah, Cincinnati gets it done. 24-19. Vincent Ray with the game-clinching interception to seal the deal for this Cincinnati Bengals team. They're tough at home. You're going to beat them. You got to play flawless football when you go into the jungle. The Chargers didn't do that. They come away with an L. Chargers go to 1-1 on the season. Cincinnati goes to 2-0. Tampa Bay at New Orleans. NFC South family business. I told you this game didn't have a lot of flair to it, but it did turn out to be an entertaining football game for all the wrong reasons. Let's start with Tampa Bay. Jameis Winston using his legs seems to be something that has been beneficial to him early in his career. Somebody has to tell him, though, you're not athletic and you're not fast. Stop running all the damn time. But it's good to see him extending plays with his legs and getting into the end zone sometimes when he did that in this game. He needs to make better throws, however, okay? There's sometimes when he gets off balance and he starts doing this whole jumping thing and he's throwing off his back foot and passes are errant. He had ASJ down the sidelines, wide open for an easy touchdown. He throws it short. ASJ can't put on the brakes and come back for it. Ends up being incomplete. Should have been a huge game. You got ASJ in the end zone. Easy pitch and catch. Overthrows him. Literally 7 yards apart, and he throws it too high. Need him to clean that stuff up. Then you got V-Jack, same possession, a couple plays later, running a dragger in the end zone. If he just puts a little bit more touch on it, air on it, boom, easy touchdown. He overshoots him. These are opportunities, and that should have been a touchdown. Ends up being a field goal. This should have been a blowout. I'm not gonna lie to you, you should have won this game going away. The Bucs defense was much better. You got a kid, Jack Smith, okay? That dude was playing lights out. 3 sacks? Are you kidding me? I saw him blowing by the right tackle. I'm like, God, that looks good. You need somebody to get to the quarterback. You don't have enough of that in Tampa Bay. And Chris Conte with an interception and then hands it to Alteron Burner. That's heads up football. I wish more people would do that. You got a teammate right there. You about to get tackled. Give it up, man. Let somebody else go get you some yards if you can't get them. Chris Conte said, I know, I'm a slow white safety. Let me give it up to a brother and let him do it. And that's what he did. I'm just joking. He was about to get tackled. He gave it up to Alteron Burner. He ended up picking like 25 yards on the play. That's smart football. Bucs, 11 penalties, 90 yards. Can't happen. Okay, you got away with one because New Orleans, they stink. You got away with one. But you can't win with 11 penalties for 90 yards on most weeks. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying, I'm just saying. Bucs tried to give this game away. I said you should have blown them out. You fumbled on 2 consecutive possessions. Where they do that at? Maybe they do it in New Orleans, maybe they do it in Tampa Bay, but that's not a way to win football games. Again, you got lucky. I don't want to say you necessarily won this game as much as New Orleans didn't want to win this game. I don't know. I don't want to take anything you did away from you in this game, but you got to play better football, man. You got to play better football. I know you're a young football team. I need you to be better than that. You should have won this game going away. And I know it's family business. Sometimes they can get a little tight. Things can get tight, but you can't be turning the football over like you did. You can't have the penalties like you had in this game. You force a fumble at the end of the game. You're offside. Saints get the football back. I need you to stop self-destructing if you want to win football games. You go to New Orleans. Like, this is just a sad sight right now. And I told you I was so lukewarm on this team. I couldn't even wash my whites with this team because they were so lukewarm. Lack of receivers, lack of Jimmy Graham, lack of explosiveness for this offense. Because you don't have enough receivers, you traded. I still can't wrap my brain around how you trade Kenny Stills. Okay, so you get rid of Jimmy Graham. I don't care about Jimmy Graham. But you get rid of Kenny Stills like you got it like that? You don't have enough stuff at receiver to be doing stuff like that. I just don't get it, but I'm over that. Your lack of explosiveness on the offensive side of the football is killing you. Everything is dink and dunk city. The Saints that I know of the good old days where Drew Brees would just drop back and launch it 45 yards in the air to a streaking fill-in-the-blank receiver for a touchdown, those days are over, man. It's CJ Spiller, it's Kyrie Robinson, it's Mark Ingram out of the backfield, it's Colston for a 12-yard hookup, 8-yard hookup, Willie Snead on a slant. I mean, it's bad, man. Cooks ain't even getting enough touches. Really bad out there, man. It's not safe on those streets for you, the Saints right now. It's not safe out there for you. Too many penalties, man. And again, you're not good enough to have the amount of penalties that you had in this game. You're just not good enough to do that. 10 for 115 yards. You're not gonna win any games like that. None. Zero. Zilch. Only the good teams can do that, and you don't classify right now. So you can't do that. You can't get away with 110, 15 yards worth of penalties. You're not good enough. 3 turnovers in this game. Again, you're playing Tampa Bay. You don't have to do but so much to win. One of those things you need to do to win, not turn the football over. And you didn't do that. You gotta be better than that. And the Browner pass interference in the end zone led to a Jameis Winston touchdown. You can't have these type of mistakes and expect to beat even the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who struggled last week and gave up 42 points. Probably thought you were gonna win this game, didn't you? Yeah, I know you did. But you played like you did, and you can't expect to win and beat anybody. Let me ask you something. And I put this down in my notes just because you know how I am, and you know how I feel about this player. So, third quarter, 6 minutes and 4 seconds left in the third quarter. First time I hear the name Kyrie Robinson in this game. Why is that? Best running back you got on your squad, most physical and explosive, game-changing back in your backfield. That includes Ingram and Spiller. And this man has to wait 3 quarters to touch the football? Are you serious? Why do I have to keep having this discussion with you? You don't want to win football games. You can't want to win football games when your best running back isn't on the field until the third quarter. I don't get it. I don't understand. I don't even want to hear any excuses. It doesn't make any sense. And you want to know why you lose football games because of this. You don't have enough talent on your football team, or at least continuity, to have guys like Kyrie Robinson not on the field. And the Saints blow my mind with this because for some reason you have an eye for talent at the running back position. You get the most physical and complete backs you can find, and you just somehow fail to distribute the football evenly to those guys. You had it with Pierre Thomas. For some reason, Chris Ivory got buried on your bench. He's doing work in New York with the Jets. He's a physical runner, much like Kyrie Robinson. And now you're doing the same thing to Kyrie Robinson. Physical runner, catches the football, does everything you could ask for out of running back, and he can't seem to get his hands on the football. And then finally you put him in the game, and you have energy on offense. I'm not the only one that sees that. They talked about it during the telecast. I know you see it as Saints fans. Why do I have to beg you to give this man the football? I don't understand. Do you not want to win, Sean Payton? Talk to me, man. Talk to me. What's good? Really? What's really good? Talk to me, man. I'm listening. Kyrie Robinson, dude. Get him the football. What are you doing? What are you doing? Anyway, I digress. Saints had some special teams miscues in this game. You have a 2-point conversion that you failed to get. I remember once upon a time when you were great at that type of stuff, but that's not what this Saints team is about. You also had a point after touchdown blocked from 33 yards out, and you missed the field goal. Again, you're not good enough to have points off the scoreboard. So let's see. That's 5 points that you didn't have on the scoreboard. You lose by 7. Didn't you get in the field goal range, or at least into a range where you could have attempted a field goal at the end to win? Yeah, you did. So, yeah, you have those things happen. Again, you're asking for trouble. You're asking for disaster. Just take care of the little things, man, and everything will take care of itself. And then the biggest news out of this game, Drew Brees actually injures his shoulder. Don't know when it happened. I don't know if this is a lingering injury, but it sounds like it could be significant. That I'm hearing it's not really significant. It depends on pain tolerance, and all I know is this season isn't going in the right direction. And for you to have a season not be like last season, you needed to win games like this against a Tampa Bay Buccaneers team that was struggling coming into the game at the crib nonetheless. You let Tampa Bay come into the house, sneak you. This feels a lot like 6-10. This feels a lot like 5-11. And if Drew Brees is injured and has to miss any significant amount of time, this season could go downhill really fast for the Saints team. I don't like the way this is going for Sean Payton. I know he's still hanging on to that Super Bowl win eons ago, but I'm gonna tell you what, man. There's only so much losing that can take place, and he felt the pressure last year. That's why all these changes were made. It's only so much losing that can take place before heads start rolling. I'm worried for you, Sean, out there. I'm really worried about you, man. Tighten up. Tighten up. Saints lose this football game, 26-19. Buccaneers get it done. Hey, big win for Lovey and his crew. I need you to have your team more prepared to play, though, Lovey. I've been very disappointed in how your boys have been out there committing penalties and not prepared on the defensive side. I always say this. When you're a specialist, offensive, defensive, whatever the case may be, have your team prepared to play on that side of the football. You're a defensive-minded head coach. If the offense struggles, you got a young quarterback, you can put the blame there. But the defense should never be unprepared. I don't give a damn who you play. Last week, your defense was unprepared to play football. This week, your defense stepped up, you win the football game. That's all I'm asking from you every single week. Whether the offense gets it done or not, have this defense prepared to play football. Bucks get it done, 26-19. Get their first win season. Baltimore at the Oakland Raiders. Didn't see this one coming. I actually made this my sole survivor pick, and because of it, I got eliminated from my survivor pool. Very disappointing because I thought the Raiders, this was less about the Raiders, more about the Ravens for me, but I want to talk about the Raiders because the Raiders did some really good things in this game, and I'm excited for them and what they were able to accomplish in this game. But let's start with the Ravens, though, because this was very disappointing. And again, you're a Ravens team that plays in arguably the toughest division in all of the National Football League. You can't do this. You can't do this. You think the Steelers are going to lose to the Raiders when they play them? I don't care when they play them. If Ben Roethlisberger is in the lineup, they're going to find a way to beat the Oakland Raiders. Cincinnati already took care of the same team. Last week, they beat them up in that same building that you just struggled in, beat them by 20 in their own crib. It baffles me how you think you can actually suit up, lose to the Raiders, and expect to have something good happen to you this season. You can't lose games like this. And the Raiders came out and played football, but the thing that I didn't understand and the thing that I didn't see coming was the defense struggling the way that it has. And I'm hearing people calling for the head of Dean Pease today. That's not necessary. This defense has been really solid under Dean Pease. I just think this was one of those situations where you missed Terrell Suggs and you didn't realize how much you were going to miss him. You got zilch pressure on Derek Carr, and he carved your defense up. Amari Cooper was stellar in this game, and when I say stellar, I mean he had Jimmy Smith looking really suspect out there. After I gave Jimmy Smith all the praise in the world because I thought he did a magnificent job a week ago on Demaryius Thomas, you gave up 4 field goals on the defensive side of football last week. That's it to Denver. And then you come out and you give up 37 big ones to the Oakland Raiders in this game. I just did not see this coming. The offense was outstanding though, man. I mean, for as bad as the offense looked last week and as inept as they looked, for them to come out and do the things that they did, speaks volumes. And I really was impressed with Joe Flacco. Steve Smith, you had Crockett Gilmore out there balling. The guys stepped up, did some things on the offensive side of the football. Flacco missed some throws though, and I thought that was the difference in the game. And it shouldn't have come to that. You scored 33 points on the road, you should win. And I don't really want to put this on Joe Flacco's shoulder, but hey, look, they pay you all this money. They pay you the big bucks. You're a Super Bowl winning quarterback. You get guys open. He missed Kamar Aiken early in the game for an easy touchdown. Wide open. Normally Joe doesn't miss deep balls. He did. You got Steve Smith late in the ball game. Defense forces the turnover that should have been the game clincher. And Steve Smith's open on that rub route. And it was really a offensive pass interference on Marlon Brown. I didn't think he made any attempt to try to run a route. He just looked like he was picking off a defender. But nonetheless, they don't call it. Steve Smith's wide open in the end zone and you overshoot him and he didn't get 2 feet down in bounds. I needed Joe Flacco to make that throw. Make this a touchdown. Make sure that the Raiders can't beat you but only can tie in regulation. Then you would hope even though that you didn't get that touchdown and you send just Incredible out there and he makes it 33-30, you would hope the defense would be able to shut it down and get this win, preserve it for you. They hadn't done anything else all game long. They weren't able to do it. And so that's a very disappointing loss if you're the Ravens. You're not 0-2. And just in case you're not paying attention, Steelers are 1-1, and they're about to get all their stuff back here in a little bit. They're getting Le'Veon Bell back. And the Cincinnati Bengals 2-0. So I don't know if you pay attention or not. Cleveland Browns also 1-1 on the season. You're in last place. So I don't know if you're paying attention, but yeah, the rest of the division, they're winning football games. Just thought you'd want to know. You look at the Oakland Raiders. Let's talk about this team because that was a very big win for them. This is a young team trying to go in the right direction, and it's wins like this that can galvanize your team and show them that if everyone plays together on the same page, we can accomplish a lot of things on this football team. The offense was dynamic. I thought Derek Carr had a nice bounce back game. Remember, he had the idiotic stiff arm that put him out of the game last week against the Cincinnati Bengals. He bounced back with a huge performance. Amari Cooper, when the moon hits the sky like a bigger pizza pie, it's somebody. So he stepped up, and I thought that first possession, that opening 69-yard catch and run for a touchdown, set the tone in the game because I think the Ravens wanted to be a lot more aggressive on the defensive side of the football. But after Amari torched Jimmy Smith on that first possession, that was a beautiful double move, by the way. That really made the Ravens take a second look and think twice about coming with pressure because they didn't feel like they could win on the outside. So that kind of made them have to dial back the blitzes a little bit, and they hit Derek Carr in this game, but it wasn't enough. It was not enough. I think this defense has a lot to work on though. Man, you had to do everything you could on the offensive side of football just to win because the defense could not stop the Ravens from putting points on the scoreboard. You had two separate 10-point leads. One in the first quarter, you're up 10-0, blew that lead, and then you were up 20-30 after halftime, after the offense came out and continued where they left off in the first half, and you gave that up as well. And actually gave up 13 unanswered and was trailing 33-30 before the offense went down one final time and Derek Carr connected with Seth Roberts for the game winner. So this defense has a lot to work on, but you found a way to get it done. It's a different team. The old Oakland Raiders find a way to lose this game. Once the Ravens got the interception, Will Hill able to pick off Derek Carr, you start hanging your heads, you find a way to lose this ball game. This is a different team. Jack Del Rio has them believing. Now, the biggest thing that the Raiders need to do is take this win and parlay it into more wins. You want to see consistency from this team. You win this game, it's a huge win at home versus a team that was in the postseason last year. Now you got to go on the road versus another AFC North opponent, your third in a row to start this season. Go on the road and beat Cleveland, okay? You want people to take you seriously. Don't have a huge win at home that galvanizes the group and then go on the road and wet your pants next week. Find a way to string together a couple of wins. You got a young quarterback in Johnny Manziel making his third NFL start. Make it a bad one. Go get a win on the road. Go see if you can do that. Raiders get their first win of the season. Go to 1-1. Ravens in some serious trouble. Down 0-2 in the regular season. You look at the last game we'll break down on part one. Dallas at Philadelphia. This was a bad game. And this had all the makings of a primetime matchup. If you would have told me this was going to be some Sunday night football action, I would have been like, sign me up. But instead, this turned out to be some very forgettable afternoon football. I'm glad for one time, and I'm usually, hey, give me just one 4 o'clock game. I don't want to have a whole bunch of stuff going on in the afternoons. Give me 2 1 o'clock games, 1 4 o'clock. They gave me 2 4 o'clocks, and I'm sure glad. Thank you, football guys, for doing that, because that game would have been hard to watch just by itself. That was hard to stomach. This was some bad, bad football. 18 penalties by the Dallas Cowboys. Ties a franchise high. Now, I talked about this on my podcast. I said, man, was it me? Or were there a lot of penalties in week 1? Well, week 2 wasn't much better. It might have been even worse. 18 by this Cowboys team. You can't win like that normally, but the Eagles, they were something else, man. They were special, extra special in this ball game. And so Dallas was able to get away with 18 of them things and still win, and win comfortably too. Yikes! Wowzers! But the defense made a statement for the Cowboys in this game. I thought last week that the offense tried to throw that game away with all the turnovers. The defense said, nah, we're not doing that. Not losing to the Giants. Offense was able to do enough at the end because the defense allowed them to stay in the ball game. Well, the defense said, hey, we're going to do you one better this week. We're just going to shut the Eagles completely down. They don't want to win. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They're inept. They're not getting anything done on the offensive side of football. And we're going to make sure that it stays that way. And I thought that the rush defense was just outstanding in this game. They said, hey, Sam Bradford, you good enough to beat us? We don't think so. Hey, try your best though. Go ahead and knock yourself out. So they just stopped the run game. Stone cold stop the run game. Okay? Dead in its tracks. Every time DeMarco Murray touched the football, it seemed like they knew the play. They were in the backfield. And only tell you what this felt like. It almost felt like some Any Given Sunday type stuff, where he pissed off, DeMarco Murray pissed off the entire offensive line. And so they just, as a collective group, decided not to block for him. Because every time, I've never seen, the man at one point had 8 carries for -15 yards. Where they do that at? Who does that? I've never heard that. That's a crazy number. Anyway, defense was dominant in this game. Even when the Eagles did go down the field and get in scoring position, Sean Lee picks it off in the end zone. I don't know what the hell Sam Bradford was looking at. He had a terrible game. We'll get to him in a second. But Tony Romo's injury is the biggest takeaway from this game. We can sit here and talk about the 18 penalties. We can talk about the defense. We can talk about no Dez Bryant. It doesn't matter. You don't have Tony Romo now. You could have survived without Dez Bryant for another 2 months. You cannot survive, however, without Tony Romo now. This is the one thing that you have on your side, and I still don't have a lot of confidence in his defense nor your run game, because I don't think any of those backs you got in your backfield are dynamic. I think they're all solid, and as a group, maybe they can get it done, but the reason why they're as good as they are and the reason why this offensive line is as good as it is because you got Tony Romo, number 9, in the backfield, making things happen down the field, and now you take him out of the mix, and it's Brandon Weeden. You know Brandon Weeden's going to do one thing. I don't know about anything else he's going to do, but I do know one thing. He's going to turn the football over. Brandon Weeden is going to share the football. You're in trouble. And I don't really know if your schedule, and I haven't really looked at it yet because really, I don't care. You know, I take it week by week. Next game up is Atlanta. That's going to be a tough get at home with Brandon Weeden at quarterback. We're going to see. Because the Atlanta Falcons can score points. I don't know if you're going to score points with Brandon Weeden at the helm. We'll see. But that injury, devastating news to you. But this division isn't that good. So you should be just fine. All you got to do is tread water. I'm not asking for you to go out here and win all 8 of these games or however many games Tony Romo is out for. All you got to do is find a way to just play average football. If he's out 8 games, go 4-4 in those games, and I'm pretty sure you'll still be right around the top of this division when it's all said and done, because the Eagles stink, as you saw right here. The Redskins, who knows what you're going to get from them week to week. And the Giants don't know how to close out games. You found that out in week 1. So you should be fine, but good luck with that. You're going to need it. It's Brandon Weeden. So let's go to the Philadelphia Eagles. This was one of the worst performances in recent memory for me. I mean, I've watched a lot of Eagles football. I'm an NFC East guy, and so I watch a lot of Philadelphia Eagles football. This was pretty bad, and I can't even explain this one. Normally there's rationality for bad performances like this. New football team, new head coach, you know, injuries, yada, yada, yada. I can't find it. And this is a lot of different guys coming together all at once. But I don't care. It's not supposed to look like this. The offensive line was putrid. Sam Bradford wasn't much better. And this offense just looked so discombobulated, it's not even funny. I mean, you force a turnover, and literally on the next snap, you give it right back. Because Sam Bradford isn't ready, and the ball is snapped, it hits him in his rib, and it's recovered by the Cowboys. I mean, are you serious? Are you kidding me? What are you doing? Like, Jordan Matthews can't catch all of a sudden. Nothing's going right, and the defense actually played good enough to win. I was speechless. I mean, this was one of the worst performances I can remember in recent Eagles history. I mean, this is bad. And I said to myself, hey Chip, what the hell are you doing, man? Really, seriously, what are you doing? You did this. You put this team together. They look very bad. Now, it's only 2 games in, and this division, I just chronicled this, isn't that good. You've got time to fix this. But you better make it fast, okay? Make it quick. You got the Redskins in 2 weeks. You need to find a way to win in week 3, and then turn around, beat the Redskins in week 4, and next thing you know, you're 2-2, and you're probably right around the top of the division. This can be fixed, but boy, was this bad. The defense, I think, is your saving grace right now, because this defense is not bad. This offense may be bad right now, and I think they can get it together. We've seen this offense click. Remember that 3rd preseason game versus Green Bay? What happened between then and now? I don't know. Just get back to that. Whatever you got to do, get back to that. But the defense is going to keep you in ball games. I think this defense is really good, and the secondary looks a little suspect. You know, you pay a lot of money to Byron Maxwell. Always remember, never pay #1 money to a #2 corner. You're going to find that out the hard way. But he's going to be okay. He's just not going to be great. So you're not to work your way around that. But this was bad. Fix it. I don't know what you got to do. Fix it. 20-10. Cowboys come into the house, knock you down, knock you out. You take Tony Romo, they give you another L. Doesn't seem like a fair exchange, but it is what it is. You're 0-2, they're 2-0. They got problems, so do you. That's what family business is all about. That's going to do it for the part 1 installment of the hurry, hut, offense. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab. We'll come back and join me as I continue to break down anything and everything National Football League. See you, part number 2.
There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter @InTheLabRoom, or you can like the Facebook page @InTheLabRoom. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and @InTheLabRoom on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.